Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to explain you about the problem, and problem goes like this: convert an array into a 2D array with conditions. So they have given basically three conditions. Let me explain what they are saying. So basically they have given an array, we have to convert this array into two-dimensional array, and conditions are like this. In each row all the characters has to be distinct. For example, when we traverse from this position, so 1 is not there in any row, so we will insert in first row, and then 3 will go to the next element, so 3 is also not there, so we will insert it, and then 4 is also not there, so we will insert in first row. And then when we come to this 1, so 1 is already inserted into the first row, so we will not insert this one into the first row because they have given conditions like in 2D array, the 2D array should contain only the elements of the array nums. First they are saying that this 2D array has to contain only the elements from this given array, and then each row in the 2D array contains distinct integers, so they have said like distinct integer it should contain, so 1 has to be placed in the second row. So now like the condition is satisfied. Third condition was number of rows in 2D array should be minimum, so this rows has to be minimum. So now we'll go to the second element, like number 2. So number 2 will check from the first row only. So in this, if you see there is no 2, so we will insert here, and we'll go to 3. So 3 has already been inserted, so we'll go to the next row and we'll check like 3 is not there, so we will insert it here. And 1 we will go, 1 is there in this first row, it also is there in second row, we will simply insert in the third row. So this is our final 2D array that we have to return as an answer. You can also see here like first row contains 1 3 4 2, same as like this, and then 1 3 1. Now let us take another example. So in this we have to return in two-dimensional array. So when we traverse to the given array, so 1 is not there in the like 2D array, so we will insert 1 in the first row, and 2 is also not there, so we will insert in the second row. 3 is not there, we will insert in the first row, and 4. So in this case, since all the elements are unique, so all the elements will be inserted into the first row only, and this will be our answer. So I think we have got the problem statement. Now let's understand how we can do this. So I think we have to create one 2D array, and then like we have to take one for loop. Okay, so that has to be run from I from 0 to length of the given array. So basically nums is the given array, so like we will traverse through the entire array one by one, we will check every element. So for the first one, like when we are here, so we don't have any element in the two-dimensional array, so we will keep one variable as found, which is whose type is boolean. So found has to be first initialized to false, and then we will write something here in order to check if that element is there in the two-dimensional array. So I'll leave space here, and then I'll write like next condition. So we will check if found, like basically found is initialized to false, which means we did not find any element to be present in this two-dimensional array. But when we will write here the like logic, in that case when element is found, so found I'll initialize to true, so in that case this if will not be executed, so I'll write a if not of found. So if element is not found in the two-dimensional array, if found is false, so negation of that is true, which means the element what we like present element is there in the entire two-dimensional, like in first row, second row, third row, like how many rows are there, in all rows that element is present. So in that case we have to insert that element in the new array, because of our condition that every row has to be a unique elements. So in that case what I'll do is I'll initialize one vector of the name as temp, and I'll insert that element nums of I. So now I have initialized one single dimensional vector, I mean one dimensional vector. Then this one dimensional vector I'll insert into our answer vector, which is of two dimensional type. So answer dot pushback. So I'll insert temp. So this is the case wherein we don't find element in the, I mean we found element in the two dimensional array. Also when I is equal to 0, in that case this two dimensional array will be empty. So it will go to this if condition and it will execute. So like first one dimensional vector will be inserted into the answer vector, which is of two dimensional type. I'll write here as 2D vector answer. Now here our actual logs is come into picture. Here like if we follow the brute force approach, then what we can do is we can traverse through the entire two dimensional array one by one. We can check if that element is present or not. So that would be a naive solution, and then again here two for loops will come into picture. So that will be a very naive solution. So one of the solution which I will do is I'll use a hash map. So in hash map I'll be basically storing this structure only, in the sense like hash map's key value will be the index, I mean row value, okay, and hash map's key value, like key value pair is a hash map. So in value I'll be putting it as this values, and this values I'll be storing in a set data structure. So I think you're getting. So basically in this condition what I'll do is I'll run a for loop which like I'll take one iterator. So iterator will be pointing to the hash map like m, I'll call hash map name as m. It will be pointing to the m dot begin, like beginning of the hash map, basically from here, and then it will go to second row, third row, like this. So it will go until the last row, it will check if not equals to m dot end, and slowly I'll increase the iterator. So here what I'll be doing is I'll check if iterator dot find, which means like in hash map first it will check, like in first row is there an iterator dot find that current number nums of I. So I'll check in this in like if in first row it is there or not. If it is not there, then I will insert it iterate.end. So this condition says like in this particular key value of hash map we don't have that particular nums. So in that case what I'll do is I'll insert iterator dot insert that nums of I. So once I have inserted, then I will set this found variable as true, which means we have found element, we have basically inserted into its correct position, like this nums of I we have inserted into correct position. So I'll set found as true. So in that case what it will happen is it will not go into this if condition, and then I'll break out of this loop, because we don't need to check like that element whenever is inserted into any row, so we don't need to insert into other row. So that is the reason I'm breaking out of the loop, and in this way it continues, and at last we have to return our two-dimensional answer. So first what we have to do is we have to return the vector of integers, like two-dimensional vector. We have to declare vector, let's say. So this is our answer what I'll be returning at the end. I'll declare a hash map, unordered map, whose key type is index, like basically the row number. So it is of integer type, so int, and then value I'll be storing it as set data structure. So map has to be a ordered map, but because we have to check one by one from the 0th row, first row, second row. So that is the reason I am taking the ordered map, but set can be unordered map, unordered set. So I think you got why I am doing like this. And then let me write map as m. I'll take one variable as index, which is basically keeps count of the rows, like till now how many rows we have in our two-dimensional vector. Also this will keep in turn the count of the hash maps, how many rows are there, I mean how many key value pairs are there. So this is the I'm taking index I is equal to 0, and then as I said, like we have to initialize from we have to check one by one all the elements of nums. So I less than nums dot size I plus plus. As I said, I'll take one boolean variable called found, which I'll initialize to false, which means in the two-dimensional array that element is found at every index, so it is initialized to false. Now what I'll do is I'll take like data type auto, and then like basically iterator which iterates through the hash map. So it is equal to em dot begin, and I'll check till I like map is not ended, so not equals to m dot end, and iterator slowly I'll increase. So in this, so basically iterator in like it will be pointing to the first row of the two-dimensional vector, and then I'll find if iterator dot find nums of I, if that element is not there in that particular row. So if it is not there, then I will directly insert. So iterator dot insert nums of I. In this, what I'm doing is I'm inserting in hash map in order to store the distinct value of the particular row. Also I'll insert it into the array. So our array name is answer of. I'll also take one more variable called j, which will keep count of the in which row I'll be inserting. So int j is equal to 0. Hashmap's first iterator will be pointing to the first row of the two-dimensional vector. So in let's say we don't have that element in the first only, then I'll insert in 0 only, so j basically. So j is equal to pushback. What is the nums of I, this particular number, and I have to increase j one by one, because let's say in first element we found that particular nums of I is there in the first row, then we'll go to the next one, and slowly like j counter has to increase, because next time we have to insert in the jth row. So I think this is clear. And then we have to also when we have inserted into a two-dimensional vector, then we have to take found is equal to true. We have basically, it says that we have inserted, and then we have to come out of the loop. Once we insert into the two-dimensional vector, then we don't need to insert in other rows, so we will come out of the loop. And then here I will be checking if not of found, which means we have not inserted in any row of the two-dimensional vector, so we have to create one new vector of one-dimensional. In that we will insert nums of I, and then this row I'll be pushing back into the two-dimensional vector. So it is temp I have inserted, and also this row has to be inserted into the hash map also. So in hash map also I'll be inserting. So m of index, this index was basically keeping the count of the number of rows we have till now. So for the first one, let's say I is equal to 0, which means I'm doing for the first one. So in that case hash map is empty, so it will go here, and m of 0, which means 0th row I'm initializing. So in this I'll be putting nums of I, and then I have to increase the count of the index, which means whenever the next time for the particular element if it is there in all the row. So in next row we have to insert. This is the reason. And once we do this, we have to return answer at the last. So let me run the code. Here the correction is we are basically taking the iterator in that we are finding. Iterator is basically a pointer like memory address. So here we have to change like for that em particular key we have to check m of j, sorry. So here also m of j. Now it will run. Here also same problem, we have to write m of j. Here it is running fine. Now let me submit the code. So it got accepted. So in this way you can solve the problem. Let me analyze the time complexity of this algorithm. So as you can see from here, for loop we have, so this is order of n, time complexity is equal to O of n. Also we have a for loop which keep tracks of the rows. So at max we can think of, let's say all the elements are same, 1 1 1 1, let's say 4 ones we have. So in that case our two-dimensional array will look like this. Okay, so in maximum case it will be n only, this iterators. I mean this for loop will be executed n times in worst case, but it is not always the case. In this case you can see it will be executed only 3 times, in this case only 1 time. And then space complexity, this is basically n into n, which is n square, and space complexity is O of n in worst case, because we are basically storing the all the elements of the array like in this case, so it is O of n. So thank you guys for watching my video.